Want to buy or sell a home or property? Want free info, resources, or support? The team at communityowned.org can help. With free classes, property searches, and real estate referrals, communityowned.org is the one. Communityowned.org. We got us.
I'm trying to spend up all these pesos. We're gonna party till they say go. Then just shake our hands and say no. Oh, hey. I'm either stunting or stumbling when I step on the floor. I take it right up to the edge and then a little bit more. No telling what is in store, except for one too many. Throwing heat La Flama Blanca. Got them powers like Kenny, hoping late like Dennis, and serving up the sauces. You all those girls on Instagram is fake as Santa Clauses. Now pause.
Atlanta's premier recording studio is Vibe Studio ATL, brought to you by Grammy-winning producer and ATL's own Looney Tunes. With multiple recording rooms, podcast rooms, photo walls, and more, Vibe Studio has all your recording and film needs covered. Check out VibeStudiosEmpire.com for more info and to book your session today. Find out why all the hottest artists have ended up at Vibe.
What's up, guys? Today we are here with the Bruetta Tea Tumbler. They recently called me and they said, Austin, it's perfect for coffee too, so that's what we're gonna do today. Touch water on the kettle, and I start out with 19 grams of whole bean coffee, everyone's favorite sound in the morning. With most coffee makers, you have to have a funnel like a V60 with filters, or you have to have a French press or a Chemex, and all of that is expensive, it's complicated, but with the Bruetta, all you have to do is you add your grounds right into the cup. And then with their fine mesh strainer here, acts as a French press for you. So after your water finishes heating up, all you have to do, add it straight in. And you're ready to go. Is there a way to end a coffee commercial? No? Okay.
And now, everybody, MC Serch. MC Serch. MC Serch. MC Serch. MC Serch.
Serch will never stand still.
What's up, everybody? It's G-Child. Sorry I couldn't make the podcast, but I just wanted to drop in and let everybody know I'm doing well. I wanted to say hello and shout out to Serch and my friends and my fans and everybody that supported me throughout the years. Hey, the White Rapper Show was an amazing time. We shared so many amazing memories that I'll never forget. It was a lot of fun, and you never know what the future is going to hold, man, so keep looking out. Yeah, I don't know. Stay blessed. It's good seeing you guys, and I can't wait to watch.
Where you at in the struggle? Giving cash or the cage? The paths lie before us. Will you go with the forest or the closest path that's paved? I spat these raps with that classic rage for all the past ancestors that battled the cage. White, black, and brown folk, white bread and town folk, righteous, united to fight. Let's get down, folk. Jus Rhyme, at community owned, here to serve.
But one of the things that happened because of the show, and one of the things that pivoted for my life, was about halfway through the show, about episode 5 or 6 of us taping. I get a call that my agent tells me, all of a sudden I had an agent, by the way. Never had an agent before in my life. Never had a television agent. Like the reason I got the show is Sasha, Chairman Mao, Flacco, Brent. Those are all my people. Like Mass Appeal, those are my boys. Like we all grew up together. Elliot's from Queens, Sasha's from Queens, Chairman Mao's from, that's just my people. So I get a call from VH1. They tell me to go up to the office, and they tell me they're going to take me to dinner. And I'm like, all right, whatever. And they sit me down. They say, we want to be in the search business. And I said, I don't know what the fuck that means. You're already in the search business. Like, we're doing a show together. They're like, no. What else you got? And I said, I don't got nothing. Like, what are you talking about? They're like, well, whatever we want to be in business with you. We're going to call your agent and we want to set up a contract and we don't want you talking to anybody else. And the next show you're going to do for VH1. I'm like, all right. And I mean, literally, I took it like that. I was like, all right, whatever. And within 5 minutes, 10 minutes later, I get a call from Ken Mock, who was, 10 by 10 Productions, who was the producer. And he says, yo, I need you to come to LA. We had a 4-day layover. I went to LA. And he says, yo, we want you to do a talk show called Serch. We want you to do a talk show.
Oh, that's right. That was dope, man. That was dope.
No. This was not the one you're talking about. This is early, like 2008, 2009.
But it was right after the show.
It was, yes, sir. 2
of my aunts, my Aunt Kathleen and my Aunt Sarah.
That's right. They came.
My mom is one of 8 siblings, big Irish Catholic family. They were like Team Serch. They were like, we're pulling up, because that's how my family is. That's how I am. We pull up and we show support. And they were there.
Yes, they were. They were in the audience. That's right. And my mother, may she rest in peace, and my father and we took pictures with them. Anyway, so I get this call. I meet this dude, Jim Paratori, right? Skinny dude. He's like this thin. He says, yo, we want to do a talk show with you. We love what you're doing on the White Rapper Show. Ken's been showing us the dailies. We want to do a talk show with you. I'm like, all right, cool, whatever. So I shoot 9 episodes. 9 episodes.
Oh, shit.
I shoot 9 episodes. They paid me stupid money. I mean, stupid money. And they're like, the same thing that happened on our show happened, like Jim Paratori comes out crying one episode. He's like, that's the greatest TV I ever saw in my life.
Nice, man.
Right? It's the greatest. And it was the show I was doing. It was funny. I was doing a show about a dude who didn't want to take care of his daughter. Right? He was trying to live that life, white kid, blah, 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 la, la, la. He had this beautiful daughter. This kid, Sully, his daughter was looking at him the way our daughters look at us. Like, right? And I'm like, and I said to him on stage, I'm like, look at that girl looking at you. That's everything. Like, you can't hold her. And he was like, and I spazzed out on this dude. I was like, yo, you're a piece of shit, money. You're a piece of shit. You can't take care. You can put your dick inside this woman. You can give her a child. You can't support this child. He's like, well, I ain't got no money. I'm like, dude, you got Nike Shocks on. They're $270. Where'd you get them Nike? And the whole crowd's like, oh! I'm like, yo, you can spend $270 on them things, but you can't spend $270 on Infamil. Fuck off my stage. You a punk. Fuck off my stage. I said, Ma, I know dudes on my block that'll hold you down for $50 a week. I got you. Right? Everybody, he comes out, Jim Paratori crying. My wife is crying. Like, it's just, and I think the show's going to happen. They're telling me show's going to happen. VH1 show already happened. It's big. Show's going to happen. They're flying me out to LA for Show West. I'm going to introduce the show at Show West. The last day, they say, oh, we're sorry. Oprah Winfrey had some doctor named Dr. Oz, and she's doing a show with him. So I'm like, all right, it is what it is. It was a good run. Jim Paratori calls me the next day. He says, sit home. I'm picking up your second option. Sit home. This is the best TV I ever did in my life. Sit home. And that check was double than the check he gave me to actually do the show.
There you go.
So for a year, I sat home. And then we built Nouveau Liquor. Then my partner came with me, and then we built Nouveau Liqueur, and then we were doing that. Third, the whole cycle, TV cycle. So I can't do any TV. I can't do any radio. I can't do anything. But I'm sitting home because I'm eating. Plus, I'm working Nouveau, and we're working with Big Sean. We're working with Lil Wayne, Ross. everybody's drinking pink, right? Comes around, show doesn't get picked up. No. I'm picking up the third option, which was now triple. Right? Now,
Shit.
Jim Paratori, who, by the way, here's his background, did The People's Court, did TMZ, did Judge Judy, and discovered a woman named Ellen DeGeneres and did Ellen.
Wow.
So at the time, he's the most powerful television guy on the planet.
Shit.
He's like, nope. This is the best show I ever did in my life. Hand to my children. He says this to me. But every summer, he would go biking. Like he'd bike through Vietnam with his best friend. He would bike through, Germany. That summer, going through France, he had a heart attack, died on his bike. And that was it. That was it. It was over. The same year it was over, we were also doing, Nouveau and all that. So then we do Miss Rap Supreme, which was not as big as our show, but it was great.
Dope.
It was a lot of fun. It was a great show. But because of White Rapper, 3 years later, I get a call again from the dude who was Jim Paratori's partner, telling me, yo, we found the tape. We love it so much. We're going to do your show at CBS. And that was the show that you saw, Just, that was on TV, that actually was on KTLA, that was on all of that. And again, for some reason, I thought that was all going to happen. It didn't happen. But the White Rapper show, for me, gave me a career in television. Even if you never saw it, that has lasted now 12 years. Development deals at Disney, development deals at at HBO, development deals at Amazon, and we're doing we're in the process of doing a documentary called The Other Man, which is on the history of white rappers.
Cool.
You know what I'm saying?
Congratulations.
And it's all because but so when you say I didn't like y'all, dude, I love y'all because without y'all there's no second career for me. You know what I'm saying? Without all of y'all, I would not have been able to do that second act. So it had nothing to do. I respected all of y'all, but I had to play my position. You know what I'm saying?
Oh yeah.
So
I mean, go ahead.
No. I was gonna say anything.
I was gonna say, like, somebody sent me a clip recently, and it's Eminem talking about third base, and he's talking about how much the music meant to him. And I didn't grow up listening to a lot of third base records, but I knew who you were, and I knew Pop Goes the Weasel, so I really got my education on hip hop from the show. And I mean, everybody saw it. I was a total fish out of water, and I mean, y'all could still run circles around me, but I mean, we were on Eminem's radar because a freestyle came out later, and he's dissing the White Rapper show, and he's talking about a white kid talking black with grills in his mouth. So who was he talking about? And he's dissing Paul
He's
Wall.
obviously talking about me. So I mean, that was
Right. He's dissing Paul Wall, and Charlemagne the God told Paul Wall, he said, "Your career died and got reincarnated as Shamrock." Like, I ain't trying to step on nobody's toes like that. He dissed Bubba on the same song. Bubba Sparks reached out to me after the show. We almost did a deal with, it was Koch, which I think is now E1, but that's where Bubba was.
Right.
And then the person who I ended up linking with, Little White with 3-6 Mafia, shout out my fucking guy. That's who I told you about on the show.
Right.
And then I get a call from People Magazine after the finale. They do like a 40-minute interview. When the interview comes in the print version of People Magazine, is this big. And literally one of the questions was, so as a white rapper, Eminem is one of your role models. I give this long ass answer like, Eminem's the greatest. That boy can spit. He hard. But I relate more to white rappers that are regional. So I own every Little White album from 3-6, but I don't own an Eminem album. And all that comes out in the magazine says, I don't own an Eminem album. Like, just looking like a total ass. So
how it works.
Then when me and Little White finally linked, I didn't look the same because I had lost some weight. I lost the grills, got the beard, tats, all that. So he did a double take, and he's like, "Oh my God, you're Shamrock." I was like, "Yeah, bro, big fan, man. I've been bumping your stuff." He's like, "Bro," he was like, "I hated the fucking White Rapper show." He goes, "Every day people would stop me and ask me, what do you think about it? What do you think about it?" And he was like, he would tell everybody, "I hate it. But I fuck with Shamrock. I want to work with him. I hope we bump into each other." So think about what like people like Paul Wall, who were just really dope and organically put on for their city and put on for the culture. That's the one part that I hate. So I always kind of wonder, Serch, did you still love doing the show after the show, or do you think like, maybe this makes people look? I always wondered that. I wanted to ask you that for real.
No, that's why I wanted to do this. So the one thing I will tell you, and the reason why Eminem said what he said, is I said, look, Eminem is more influenced by Big Daddy Kane, Eminem is more influenced by, artists like MC Breed and Tupac than he is by Third Base. It's the same thing I said about G-Eazy. It's the same thing I said about Jack Harlow. Jack Harlow is not influenced by Third Base. He's not influenced by MC Serch. He could give two shits about who MC Serch is. So that's all I said about M, and that's why M said,
Jack Harlow?
He's dope.
Really?
He tight.
You don't know who Jack Harlow is?
Bro, he hard.
Watch
He
Saturday
outta
Night
here.
Live tonight. Jack Harlow's a fucking monster.
Out of here.
Yo, that kid's a
Outta
fucking
here.
monster.
He's the first white rapper. I'll say two. I don't know if y'all know Ritz, who's with Tech Nine, who's also from Atlanta. That boy is out of here.
He raps like you do. You like that?
He's
That's-
super
No,
emotional.
listen.
Super
I was
emotional.
the
Ritz is a
first
dope
white
dude.
boy to really pop from the A, but he hit me up on MySpace, and his whole thing, Ritz Cracker, his MySpace looked crazy, so I just shot him a price for the feature. DJ Burnwan does his mixtape, and Yellow Wolf puts him out. Me and Yellow Wolf had a lot of mutual friends, and I'm like, oh, okay, maybe I should listen to this guy. Boy, I hit play on that mixtape, and I was like, you better step it up or your days are numbered. And I kept, anytime a white rapper would start popping, if we had a mutual friend, they would send them to me and be like, what do you think? So this kid from Orlando named Kasky starts blowing up, gets signed by Cash Money. I meet this kid. I'm like, how old are you? He's like, man, I'm 18. I'm like, you're 18 and you're this good? Like, I was just like, the writing was kind of on the wall for me at that point. I was like, man, you had a good run, but these kids. So Jack Harlow was the first person I never had any connection to. When I heard What's Poppin' was the first song I heard.
Well, that okay. I know that.
And then the Tyler Hero, and I was like, man, this dude's nice. Checked out his album. He's a monster.
All right, I didn't know him by name. I know him by TikTok.
Yeah, no, but
I'll
there's
admit
so
it. I
many.
know him from TikTok.
So I mean, but there's so many great, like for me, like Marcus Kraft, Lil D. There's so many great white MCs that I just happen to think are dope, not because they're white, just because they're dope. Yeah. They're incredible. Like, and I think that the whole labeling of, whether you're a white rapper, a purple rapper, an Asian rapper, a black rapper, a Caucasian, it's all dead. Like at this point, if you're nice, you're nice. Yep. Jack Harlow and like I said, I love Marlon Craft. I called him Marcus. Marlon Craft, Little D. There's just a lot of great MCs now. And like you said, it's one of these things where it's like, wow, if you can't compete, if you can't, compete with these kids, what's the next step, right? Like, what's the next maneuver? For you, Sully, it's your cannabis company, right? Like, that's what you're into now, right?
Yeah. So my partner and I started a company called TalkingSeaweed.com, and we do cannabis-centric media. And then I do some other like consulting and things. I always had a passion for cannabis, and it was always something that I kind of I expected to be in this anyway. Eventually, like even with hip hop and everything, like that was my vehicle to get the investment money to start doing all this, and it just kind of ended up being where I just ended up there. You get attracted to the things that you want to be around, right? So just cannabis. I mean, like I said, I smuggled some into the show. I don't know if you know what I mean. Like I remember I was taking all 100 proofs backwards. I was like, let me get some backwards, man.
I think I remember thinking like,
take watch for you.
I was like, this gonna make him fuck up. Keep smoking, so keep smoking. Go ahead.
Oh yeah, I know. I mean,
you was my comp, bro. You was my comp, man.
Yeah, man. I mean, I knew that.
Lie.
I know, for real, and we knew that the whole time. You know what I mean? But we were always cool about it. Like it was always like, and my just general demeanor at the time, I just didn't give a fuck about anything. So like, if I left the show, cool. If I'm on the show, cool. If I leave the show, cool. Like whatever's gonna happen is gonna happen, because whatever I'm gonna do is gonna work, because I was carrying myself like, I'm fucking here. You're welcome. And then when I left, I was like, I'm here now. You're fucking welcome. Like, and that's just kind of how I carried it at the time, which is wild now looking back as like a grown man. You know what I mean?
When you left the show, did you wind up crashing at Misfit's house in Brooklyn for like a day or two before you went to Boston?
We were homies. We were kicking it all the time.
Yeah, we stayed in a hotel, and you came to visit a few times.
Yeah.
So you did you guys all hang out, and then like after the show, where there's a lot of like bonding with all of y'all? Did you guys all stay in touch through social media or?
Like, I feel like definitely Shem, I saw you lot. I saw you Sully a few times. And then I saw G-Child. I think she stayed at my house one night with some of her friends, like one time. But other than that, I guess it just kind of gradually fizzled out a little bit. But
and then I wanted to ask this, and then I'm going to go to you, Jus Rhyme, because I want to ask you about the battle in Detroit. But Misfit, when you left the show, what happened with you? Because like, I heard you were DJing, and then I heard you were going on tour, like, and then there was something. Then I heard something about Gwen Stefani. Like, I heard there was always some wild shit. Like, I always heard some wild shit about you, like, through people. Like, I remember, like, all of my classmates came to a dinner party I did, and they were like, "Oh, I know Misfit. She's going on the road with Gwen Stefani. Oh, I know Misfit. She's going." I'm like, "How do y'all know? What the fuck? She's still on the show." And
she's a G.
I'm like, yo, and I was like, what? How do y'all know all this? And I felt like out of the loop. It was one of the few times I really felt out of the loop in my life. So what happened after the show with you?
I definitely got into so much different shit. Like, I kind of was bouncing around with different projects, working with different producers. I was having meetings with, like, I had a meeting at Atlantic and Interscope, where they were like, "We love your music, your sound, and but they didn't know how to market like a white English girl rapper all the way back then, because it was way too early. So then I started working on some project. I was working with this rapper from Detroit, Trey Little, and like Royce the 5'9".
Yep.
I'm working on some projects with them, and then I kind of got like talked into doing like a pop track, because they were like, they wanted me to do more pop music, which wasn't really in it. So I released a single called Miss America, which did good, but I didn't write it, so I didn't feel right. I didn't have a creative input into it. So then I just kind of I can't remember. I worked with so many different people, but then I built my own recording studio, and just kind of took a step back, because I was investing so much money into like other people's studio time, other producers, that I built my own studio, like taught myself how to engineer, like mix, master, produce, and then just started experimenting like 20 hours a day, just like not leaving the studio. And then I had a vocal coach and started singing, and I actually found it a lot more fun singing, because I can get deeper and kind of. I can hear a dog barking somewhere.
I assumed it was it sounded like a fancy dog.
That's my dog.
Right. I'm like, where is that coming from? Anyway, so then I started singing. I said, the latest EP I recorded, it's more like my music sound now is more like kind of very like dark and cinematic. It's more kind of I guess a little bit like a Lana Del Rey kind of sound, which I love that. I definitely enjoy that, making that kind of music. And then DJing, that started about 6 years ago. I was trying to find a way to get another hustle where I could still be in music and actually, make good money. So DJing is a win-win, because I can sneak my own music in there while I'm playing. And I've played like I've played London, Ibiza, Toronto, all over the States. I've done like a lot of big fashion parties for like Gucci, Vogue, got featured in Vogue a few times. Omar's, like Williamsburg Hotel, a lot of big like residency. DJing's fun. Like actually every Friday, little plug. If anyone's in New York, I play at Nurse Betty on the Lower East Side of Manhattan. Really fun night. I think I was sending you guys videos last night.
Yeah,
I was a bit lit. That's every Friday. Obviously, it was a lot more before the pandemic hit, but now every Friday I'm still at Nurse Betty, and it's really fun. And so that's kind of it.
That's dope. No, I love that. I love that. And you got to definitely play some of your music. Get it queued up, because I got to speak right here.
And I'm actually releasing an EP next week. So
that's dope. Yeah.
Yeah.
Actually, it's right here. SoundCloud.com/Devalier Music. DEVALERMUSIC.
I was producers from Toronto, actually, where I did my first DJ gig called AT Empire. So we collaborated on a project. It's really dope. It's kind of like a very different, unusual sound. So I'll be interested for you guys to hear it.
That's dope.
I always figured that you would end up in like the fashion industry somewhere. I always figured like you would find a lane and then just kind of go with it, because that was always, your thing.
Yeah, it's like hip hop was my thing, but then it was like a hip hop, but then my love of fashion. You know, I designed and make all my own clothes, and I was modeling before, obviously doing like music, and so I had to kind of find a way to make them both work. But yeah, you know, fashion's my thing. I'm all about glam, so
that's dope.
Managed to find my lane eventually.
I want to get back to the show though, real quick, because one of my favorite episodes was when we went to the D. When we went to Detroit.
That
was
was
one of my
so
favorite
wild.
episodes, and again, I was not only living in Detroit, had the #1 radio show in Detroit, but I knew all the dudes that were going to be at the battle in Detroit. And they were all like, it wasn't, see, you keep saying it was a setup. It wasn't a setup. What it was it was all the dudes that were from 8 Mile. It was the original dudes from 8 Mile.
Oh. Yeah.
So it was the Cardi Boys, Killer Gans, Low Lewis, Beretta, like all of those dudes, but those were the dudes. So when they asked me to do the show, and then we were coming to Detroit, they were like, "Yo, you know, Marshall was supposed to do the show, then Marshall backed out last minute, and then he was like, "Yo, do you know all these dudes?" I was like, "Do I know all these dudes?" I'm like, "Of course I know all these dudes. These dudes come to my radio show every damn day." So it was the Cardi Boys, like I said, it was Killer Gans, Low Lewis, it was Beretta, all those dudes. So, you know, we had the battle. Just got to sleep in the trailer park. Y'all got into the 5-star hotel. Yes.
Can we talk about that real quick?
Please, of course. That's what this is for.
This blew my mind. They literally took us to the 8 Mile trailer park. I mean, we were around crazy people, and I mean, like to the point where I don't know if we had security around the trailer, because the first night we all slept in the trailer, and this much of it.
I met security. It was heavy. I'll talk about it in a second.
Okay, that's why I was drinking so heavy in those nights, because I'm like, what the fuck? Just trying to knock out, and we were sitting outside that trailer for like 9 hours. And just everybody we had people come up and sing for us and be like, "Oh, he fishes. He's got a trophy.
I remember
Go
that.
get your trophy. Bring like a fishing trophy." And just like, it was crazy. So then
the guy that looked like Tupac, remember there was the white woman that said, "I have a boyfriend that looks like Tupac."
He didn't really look like Tupac.
I know. That was the joke.
Advertising. And then he comes up and we're like, "Oh,
Tupac
that's
from Wish."
Tupac." Like, that's like one pot or like half a pot. But even before we got to the trailer, like, Serch blew our minds, because he takes us to the pool hall and it's fucking Kid Rock. That was like right there.
Come on,
Serch. And actually, he was probably one of my top 2-3 favorite people we met on the show, because he was so down to earth. And this dude is like a pop star. And I remember he asked me about my teeth. He's like, "Yo, you got the grills? Let me see." I'm showing him. And he's like, "Are those permanent?" And I was like, "Nah, they're fronts." And I like popped them out. I was like, "They're just cut like diamonds, but it's just gold." And he was like, "Oh, okay, that's good, because you need to throw them away." I'm like, "What?" And he was like, "They will ruin your teeth." And I'm like, here's this crazy rebel rock star, like, trying to give me sound advice. Like, don't wear those. They're gonna rot your teeth. Like, he was genuinely concerned. And you know him too, right, Misfit?
Yeah, but I'm saying, do you remember I had grills as well for a while?
Okay.
I think I took them out one time in a restaurant, wrapped them in tissue, and accidentally threw them away. But that's probably a good thing too, exactly.
But even I didn't mean you set us up, Serch. It was just like, "Yo, Sham, do you know how to freestyle?" "Not really." "Have you ever battled?" "Nah." "Well, you're going to 8 Mile, and this dude can really fucking battle. So bring your A game." I'm like, what the?
Yeah. So what was great about that for me is, you know, obviously I came up battling. Like, that's how I got my rep up. Because what my boys would do was when they would move in their little packs through the 5 boroughs and dudes started rhyming, they'd be like, "Oh, my man Serch rhymes." And they'd be like, "Oh yeah, bring him through. You know, we'll battle him. This is my man. He's the best dude in Marcy Projects. This is my man. He's the best dude in Vandermeer Projects. This is my man, blah, blah, blah." And they would set up the battles near the train station. So then when I came up, as soon as they saw I was white, whatever the bets were, they would quadruple. "Oh, yo, 200. I got 200. Yo, fuck that devil. I'm a slay that devil." But for me, like, one thing that people did not do when I was coming up is they didn't battle off the top of the head. It wasn't even a thought to really rhyme off the top of your head when you battled. Everybody wrote their written rhymes. Yeah, proof. 100 proof it's true. Back in 84, 85, 86, 87, like dudes that really battle rhyme, they wrote their rhymes. Everything was written. So I thought like, okay, I'm going to be ahead of everybody. I'm going to come off the top of my head. Like I'm going to rhyme off the top of my head. I'm going to battle everybody off the top of my head. So when dudes would battle me, they would have their writtens, right? And it was usually the same thing. Like it would be a written rhyme about how whack you were, right? So then what I would do is I would then break that dude down from head to toe about how whack he was just by what he was wearing and the dude standing next to him and what he was wearing, yada, yada, yada. So then I would get the oohs and the ahs and the oohs and the ahs and all of that. And then the dude would go with his next rhyme, and his next rhyme was usually like a lyrical kind of wordplay thing. So then what I would do in the second round was I'd pick apart his words. Oh, you said that, you should have said this, because this goes with this. This is where you missed, and da-da-da-da-da. This. And and then the money would get collected. But then I know that if the money went in my pocket, the next maneuver was the duff. Like I would be duffed by like 50 heads. So my boys would like then do their business. The money get moved like this, and I would boogie right back down to the train, and I was gone, right? So what I was saying was when y'all were getting ready for that battle, two of my favorite things about that show was one, taking Jus over to like showing him how to rhyme off the top of his head. We went to
oh shit, that was crazy.
We went to a yard sale.
I remember.
We went to a yard. There was a dude outside his trailer that was having a yard sale. And I was like, yo, no, because you were in the hotel. You were already balling.
Yeah.
I'm gonna get to you and John Brown balling in the hotel in a minute.
All right.
But all right. So Jus was in the trailer park. Which, by the way, what we paid that dude for those 4 days paid for his trailer for a year.
I believe it. I believe it.
That's
for a year.
And it still probably wasn't that much.
It wasn't that much. But you definitely digress. So there was a yard sale, and I'm like, yo, listen, you can rhyme about anything. Like, yo, you could battle a dude talking about that the troll, the garden troll. Think about the garden troll as a dude you're rhyming about. And then there was like a shirt, a police shirt. And I said, yo, it would be dope if you said, yo, this is where you reside. Oh, you left this outside, and pull the police shirt out on Low Lewis, right? Which is what you wound up doing in the battle.
Did they cut that out? Yeah.
No, that made it.
Oh, okay, I forgot.
That made it.
Crazy.
Right. It was crazy. So the second thing that was real funny is we were all staying in that really cute hotel. And I get a call, again, like 2 o'clock in the morning. You and John Brown were in some suite.
Yeah. Oh,
and they were
baller suite. Yeah.
And they were like, yo, go visit John Brown and Shamrock and talk about battling. And I'm like, okay, cool. So I woke up, and they had a camera follow me into the room, and John Brown and Sham are sitting there, and we're talking about like, rhyming off the top of the head. And I said to John Brown, I said, yo, diss me. Let me hear you diss. Do you remember the Sham? Or
No. I think I was drunk because they gave us like Cristal. We get in the suite and they're like, here's champagne, here's steak. I'm like, all right. And then they sit us at a table, and I'm watching the show when it aired, and Looney Tunes like hits me. He's like, why they got y'all on a date? And I was like, no, man. I was like, John Brown picked me to go with him because I think he wants me on his good side.
Right. That's exactly right.
Yeah. So I think I vaguely remember you coming in. But
so anyways, so this I remember because it's one of my favorite moments. So I went in and I said, John, why don't you take a stab at me, like battle me, rhyme, like battle me. I think maybe this might have made the show. Maybe it didn't. I don't remember. But he said something crazy, like he made fun of my big nose or something. Like he said, I think he said like I had a Humpty nose. And then and I was like, all right, that's cool. And that's where they stopped it. That's where they stopped the show.
I think I know where you're going.
What they didn't show is when I said, wait, let me show you how this really should go down.
I remember this.
And I fucking tore him apart.
No,
like
you
5 minutes.
You did both of us. You just went crazy. You ethered him, and then you were like, and Sham, and just started going off. And I was like, has he been thinking this about us the whole time? And I don't think
it's just off the top of the head. No, it's just off the top of the head because that's what I do. And anyway, so when I left the show, post, I go and I leave, and they didn't show it. And I was like, yo, why didn't you use that? And they were like, we couldn't use you baking the contestants. Like,
bro, roasted.
Couldn't show us baking. I'm sorry.
Yeah. No, I was gonna say that moment, and like when you were with Grandmaster Kaz, and just when y'all were going off top, that was so real to us, because we were like, damn, like if he wanted to, he could still go. Like he could just really put it down on us at any time, but he's letting us make mistakes, letting us grow, letting us shine. But back to your point,
that was what I was there for. But I remember the battle, and I was on stage, and all three of you were on stage, and
I don't like to talk about this. Honestly.
No, it's okay. I'll leave it alone. But one of the things this is one of these moments where I felt bad, like I really wanted to like protect y'all, but this was the moment. John Brown was rhyming against Lo Lewis. And he said, yo, fuck Lo Lewis, right? And he said something, my pocket stays so Jewish. And he looked over to me for me to kind of co-sign the line, right? To co-sign the line, right? And I did this. Right? But then I looked up, and John's hand started doing this. And I just wanted to hug him. Like, yo, I wanted to be like, yo, time out. I'm sorry, brother. I'm sorry. It's okay. Breathe. It's okay. Yo, his hand started vibrating. And I was like, oh, man, this is getting ugly.
I mean, he wasn't the only one.
No.
I bombed.
And no, it was trial by fire. And the thing that I felt really bad about, again, this is like one of these other moments where I felt really bad, was also the time that Jus got called from his professors talking about either come back to school or you're going to lose your degree, you're going to lose your
I remember that.
Yeah, scholarship.
Yeah. And I'm like, man,
because you were like going for your master's, right?
PhD.
Yeah. Oh man, crazy.
And I remember like one of the things that I remember about the show, and again, it's one of these things where I'm like, when they showed it, right? When they showed it, to make it level the playing field, when you guys rhymed, your beats were on beat. Everything was on beat. When Lo Lewis rhymed, when all those dudes rhymed, they purposely didn't sync them to the beat. And I was hot. Like, I was hot. Like, how are you going to fucking... Because then I'm in the street in Detroit, and my dudes are looking at me like, oh, you made me look fucking stupid. Like I can't even rhyme on beat. And I'm like, yo, why the fuck did y'all do that to those dudes, man? Like,
yeah, that's wild.
Why the fuck did you do that? That's fucked up. And they're like, yo, I said, because if we didn't do something, it would have looked crazy on TV. It would have looked crazy. And I'm like...
Let it be crazy.
Yeah, so you made them look crazy? Like, that's not even right. Like, it's not even right. And I remember when we were making the announcement, you were in camo, head to toe. You were in camo, and you were standing there like a G, just like a fucking G. And when we told you to step off, yo, you took it like a fucking G.
Oh man.
And I knew what you were about to walk out into the world with, and it was like one of those moments where I'm like, I wish, So what happened? Like, so yeah, I know you are, and I love you for that. But what happened, like, after the show and after that episode? Like, were you able to keep your, like, what happened with school and all of that?
Got to fight. You all know. What are we out here for? We fight. We make the way, right? Serch, you taught us, man. So, like, I mean, off the top, I just want to say honored, bro. Like, none of us deserve this. You know that. Like, I appreciate it. So nah, man. I mean, the link's right there. Community owned. Nipsey taught me and just got busy. So community owned. We were doing independent rap before. Still doing it. Now we're just doing real estate. And we doing independently owned businesses. How to support folks. So same stuff, y'all know. Same old Jus. We are all we need. I need you so we can get free. Same deal. The wild one who will volunteer at your potluck for no reason. So, the bars.
So did you wind up going back to school? I mean, did you lose your
Had to fight for it. Yeah. So lost it. got it back. Showed them I was built for it. Yep, got the PhD. Dope. Thank you, man. At SC, went to UCLA. Like I said, studied what Nipsey was talking about: buy back the block, community-owned, self-determined real estate. Got behind black and brown folks and let it rip. If you look online, we're doing that and beating 90% of real estate agents on Zillow, supporting vets, working class folks, poor folks, and all of us to buy back the block. So let's get it. And I hope, Serch, there's a clause in that contract that allows you to work with us. Because like I said, no money, but all money in. So it's like, let's get this done, man. Especially in these times. What are we doing? Y'all think the energy's going to change? Nah. But I can listen. But you give me the mic, I'm going to rip it, and I'm going to go pass it. So that's about it.
Beautiful.
But hit us up. Let's keep building, man. And I was telling everybody here, community-owned, last thing, free platform to promote whoever's got stuff going on. It's the same shit I've always done. So y'all got stuff. That's why I said, let's go on tour, and Serch jumped off. Whatever you selling, we supporting. No dollars. That's it. Serve the people.
Love that.
All right.
One thing about Jus Rhyme, 115%, whatever he does. And I always respect you for that, bro. I promise you.
I don't know what you said at all, but you meant that shit.
Yo,
I'm down with that. I'm sure it was the best shit, and it was like
nah, bro.
Super.
Trash.
I'm not even trying to be funny. I'm like, I know it. Whatever it was like the best humanitarian shit I've ever heard, and I'm like, I have no idea what you just said, but I'm it's
right here,
right here. Basically more than I've done.
Right here.
I know, but I'm just hearing phrases and words. I don't know what that shit means. I want to. I mean,
just give love, and you good, man.
So basically, what he's saying, proof, is he's saying that we have to help others, and then when helping others, we help ourselves. So that's helping. That's helping, whether that's in political spectrum, whether that's creative spectrums, whether that's buying real estate for people who are underserved and becoming partners of theirs in real estate investment opportunities. All of those things are opportunities where we can all give back. And that there are men and women who, unfortunately, because of the color of their skin, don't have the same opportunities that white people do, and that white privileged people do. And when this is something that I think is I don't like to use the word important. I think that's like a played out word, but I think it is important for all of us to say. I don't think a lot of us here in this call got where we got because we were white and privileged. I think there's two types of white people. Like there are two types. There's class. There's a white echelon and there's a lower white class. There's more white people on welfare than there are black people because there's more white people on the planet Earth than there are black people. There's more poor people than there are rich people. So it's a class thing. So when people say, especially men and women of color, oh, you must have had opportunity because you were white. Well, yeah, that might be so. I might have been driving a flat car and not get pulled over because as soon as the cop saw that I was white, he let me go, right? I might have had more opportunities, but certainly I don't come from a silver spoon in my mouth in any way, shape, or form. I don't think any of us come from that. But I do believe that there are men and women of color who see us, who see a show like The White Rapper Show, and who see people like myself, and they say, oh, he got where he got because he's white. And he was afforded opportunity because he's white. There's no black rapper show. Why isn't there a black rapper show, right? So people have this mentality, but it's a class mentality. It's not a race mentality. But what happens is we dial it down. We dilute it to a race thing because all we see is the color of our skin and not the character, right? So what he's talking about in serving the people is he's saying, look, we have to acknowledge something that is a basic. And the basic is, I wasn't born with a silver spoon in my mouth. My parents had block cheese and we were eating ketchup sandwiches. It doesn't matter where I'm from or who you are. There's a class struggle in this country. And if we don't acknowledge that we are all part of one class, whether that's middle, lower, or echelon, then we can't serve and we can't be of service, right? So the simplicity of it is this. When you can find a way to include everybody and bring everybody together, and you can do it in a way that benefits everybody. The people that are less than, the people that are there to be of service. And you can also provide things that those other communities can't necessarily provide for themselves because you can bring in resources. Then that's how you become of service.
Then same to the show. I met, speaking of who we met through that stuff, I think I was doing a show with Head PE and met shout out to Danny Diablo, Lord Ezek, which Sasha is in a band with, right? Wilding their stuff. So they're in a band too. Small world of that. Sasha and Danny Diablo's got that show. So I signed to Ill Rock, did stuff with that. We went down to the show. Black and Blue Bowl did one in what the fuck was that show? Red Room. There's some Brooklyn thing, party things. It was a great show. There was a Necro, a bunch of other people. So it was a great show. And then all the nonfiction stuff. Old Billy Boy was there. It was great.
Shout out to Ill Bill.
Yes, always. And also on our show, we don't mention this. Speaking of white rappers, when you brought in not at least me and Sully for sure, when all the La Coca Nostra boys came in.
Oh yeah.
All this shit. And
that was dope. Slane was supposed to come too, right?
I know. Yeah, he didn't make that one. And speaking like that, he's still the top of his albums, like new one this month, I think, too. And it's amazing. I mean, he's gone through so much stuff, his life. And we were talking about, the White Man's Devil Part 2.
White Man's the Devil was dope.
All those years ago, he's just getting better and better and better. So I met, all those guys, Slane, everyone from that show, connections I wouldn't have had. That time, girlfriend got cancer, so the Ill Rock stuff kind of stopped, but I got amazing connection there. I got to do a song with at the time was Dead Rabbits, boys from Lords of Brooklyn, amazing again, Scotty Edge, Polly Nugent, amazing dudes, such great dudes, people like heroes of mine. Same thing when I wish this didn't make the show, but when Caves popped in, I was like, holy shit, and it didn't make the show with the graffiti stuff. But I mean, again, heroes of mine that grew up. Half of this gruff in my voice is from listening to those dudes rap, and me realizing that I could be myself, the weird fucking country hit kid, and not have to be that. I can love something, and it doesn't mean, I made my own culture around it. It's kind of weird, but I'm still that same dude. Like this character is me. It's not just the character. It's a lot of that part. So I'm still doing stuff, tons of production. I do production, ghostwrited for years, stuff. My new album dropping soon. Didn't get the good PP mask, got the Rona, and it killed my video shoot. I think when we were first talking about it, I was literally just coming off of dying from that stuff. So, and then we had the snowpocalypse in Texas. So I'm glad we bumped this to where it is. Perfect timing to get everybody together for this reunion, because it was not fun in Texas for me for the last.
How much? I've been wondering this. Sorry to interrupt you, man. How much snow did you guys actually get?
For us, it was crazy.
No, I know that. I'm just saying, but how much snow was it like total?
Depending where I was at, like 4 inches flat, and then not like roof stuff. But it's not even that. It's the ice and the longevity and the fact that we have to privatize everything. So we don't have a real. You can't, like we're talking about privatized prisons a second ago. That's why they won't legalize fucking weed. The same thing. Our power grid. Oh, free state. It's great until. And guess who gave some of us electricity? Mexico. Yeah, fuck that wall, assholes. So yeah, no, they won't understand it. It doesn't matter. It's not advantageous at the moment. It's fine. But yeah, we had no power because we're the only state that let's go secede. Yeah. So fuck Abbott too.
It's just crazy. It's just crazy, just like being from Boston and like Serch. You probably understand this from New York. You know what I mean? It's like there's so much snow up here.
We had so many snowstorms as well.
Right? Yeah, you get it. You know what I mean? Like 4 inches is like doesn't even stop our day.
No, but
it's like it's in the South. I noticed when I was down, because I was down in I don't know if you guys call North Carolina the South, but to me it's the South. And I remember we were driving and there was like 2 inches of snow, and it was like crazy. And they had the funniest thing I've ever seen in my life. They had the salt truck going first and the plow right behind it. And I was like, oh, you guys are doing this wrong.
Yeah, no, they're doing it all wrong. Yeah, no, they don't understand. Yo, and I was in North Carolina when they had ice, and you would see cars just sliding down streets, like because they don't know how to drive on ice. They don't have it. You know what I mean? So I want to ask y'all this as we wind up, because I literally just realized we've been doing this for 2 hours. I could talk to y'all for 10, but I want to ask all of y'all this: if you could, or if you could have made a career of ramen after the show, would you have, or are you happy with where you are today? And Sully, we'll start with you.
I would say, I mean, I did make a career rhyming after the show for sure. I was touring. I was doing songs with like Rick Ross. I had a song with Busta Rhymes that was on the radio. I did songs with Mims, Blackout, Cool and Dre. I toured the whole East Coast doing shows, hitting the radio stations and stuff. I did stuff as far as Hawaii. I was on national radio. I was on college radio. I worked in my group Headshots. We were on top 5 in college radio. We were, I made it a career, I would say, you know. And then, like I said earlier, I was planning on transitioning to the cannabis space regardless, because I just saw it. You know, sometimes you just see something and it's like, I mean, I just always saw it. I just always saw it as the next. It's like they legalized, you know, having tires. You know what I mean? Like, it's like everybody. There's so many people that want it, and there's no, like, you know, one of the few things that like really pulled me towards it. If everybody saw it when they legalized in Nevada, they ran out in 3 months. It was just gone. Like, there was just no more left in the state, which is crazy to me. You know what I mean? It's like when there's that much demand for any product, I feel silly not to be on top of it. You know what I mean? Right. But yeah, no, I feel like I made a career with rhyming, and I feel like I loved it. I do feel like fame isn't necessarily the coolest shit there is. I feel like it's really cool. Like I said this to Kyle from Hip Hop DX. I was like, it's cool because people treat you differently, but then it's not cool because people treat you differently. Mm-hmm. You know, and it's just like, it's one of those things. It's just like a double-edged sword. And once I got married and had my children and stuff, I just kind of pulled back because I'd rather be not, you know, being interrupted at dinner time with my family. You know, personally, that was really
that's great. No,
you know what I mean?
and I'm really glad. And like I said, if there's anyone out there that needs, you know, any kind of marketing or help with their cannabis company, talkingseaweed.com, contact the Cannabis King of Boston. Fuck you, that's your name now, Sully. Get it fucking right. Don't get it fucked up at all. Do not get it fucking twizzlered. Do not go into 5 and Dime and get twizzlered. Talkingseaweed.com for the Cannabis King in Boston. I
got to do a shout out to my partner, Rose Glenn Entertainment. He's a beast with the camera. And that's why everything we do looks so good. And shout out to the Honeycomb Farm, because they put me on like nobody's business. So
dope. All right, Sham, you're next.
The question, the career.
Yes.
Yeah. You know, rhyme was what I did for 5 to 6 years after the show. And the last artist deal I was offered in 2013, I turned down because I felt like nothing I did was as big as being on the White Rapper show and taking home the prize. So, you know, the checks get a little smaller. There's label stuff. I shut down a lawsuit that was filed against me because the label said they owned my name and they didn't. And that's what happens when your CD gets on shelves. If people think you're eating and they think they can get a piece, they'll try. So I felt very blessed to eventually link up with Little White and work with Selecto Hits out of Memphis, Tennessee. My career was very DIY. I had to bust my ass for everything I've done after the show. So the show was an incredible platform to launch off of. And I love the way you broke it down, Serch, because I get asked that so much. Like, did the show help or hurt your career? And I'm like, it definitely helped. Would you have gotten to where you are without the show? I like to think so, because I was just busting my ass and networking and had gotten good signs. But the way you just put it, like, if you didn't walk so we could fly, not that phrase, but like you bust it down, you put it down, and without you, does Eminem do what he does? Without Eminem, is our show even newsworthy or whatever? So, man, it's just, I think for all of us, like, your goal, you were so passionate and you want to be heard, and we all have things to say. For Jus, it was about he's sticking up for the people who don't have a voice. and Misfit's coming with this crazy fashion perspective. And like for me, it was really about just my story and finding my voice and my confidence, because I grew up without it. And I grew up almost feeling like there was like a hole in my heart in different places because I got hurt so much growing up. So like the love that came after the show, like it sounds corny, but it like made me whole for real. Like I'm happy where I wasn't always happy in my life. And that's outside of the money. Mm-hmm. That's why it's like, that was great. That helped. That gave me financial security that I never had. But it was really the love. It was like just meeting the legends and getting honest critiques from the people. Like, am I good enough? I love doing this. And then we get on the show and we're going to the Bronx, New York. We see Grandmaster Flash like day one. Y'all want to know something really crazy? Like me and Bushwick Bill really became friends. Wow. And when I moved down to Orlando, he moved into the house in Atlanta with two of my best friends for like a month when he was working down there. And, you know, God rest the dead. He's not with us anymore, but he'll never die. He's a legend. And just to be able to like chop it up and work with him, to get used to seeing like MC Serch every day, like that's crazy. That's crazy. It was so much bigger than the money. Yeah. It's bigger than what I did with rap, even though I did what I had to do and I did what I came to do, and I even did some more. But at the end of the day, man, just even y'all, just seeing y'all happy and healthy and smiling, like that's the most important thing to me. Like 2020, like shit got real. So like for the rest of our lives, like let's just cut out like the bullshit, the ego, all that fake shit, because it's a lot out there, and you can get caught up in it. I know I did. I know I was big headed for sure, and I'm very confident, but it's not even about that, man. Like the first check I wrote was to Smile Train, 10 G's.
I remember that, bro.
To fix kids' cleft lip, because a couple of my surgeries were sponsored. I had 6. And, you know, kids are cruel. Even adults said crazy shit to me growing up. That's like, and then that was a chance for my parents to see, wow, we thought our son might go the wrong way. Because I was like really close when the White Rapper show happened of, do I go the school way, the way I should go? Or do I do this stuff because I think it's cool and it's like what I want to do? And, you know, maybe I'm angry at the world. It's deep. But all that to say, like, y'all are all a part of that for me. So when I think of y'all, and I hate the idea, I'm going to cry. I hate the idea that somebody had a bad experience after the show. Because for me, that shit, like, changed my life. For real.
And tell us about Vibe Studio Empire.
Yeah.
So tell me about that.
My best friends who were really working on with music before the show, Looney Tunes and Rival on the Beat. Looney ended up doing a song for Rihanna and Future that changed his life. Wow. And I got to help him kind of navigate that situation. And because it was crazy. They were trying to take his credit. Like that was a Def Jam placement. And people were trying to say they did the beat that he did because he hadn't done a record that big. So it was crazy. So changed his life. He told me, he was like, look, I know you got this going on, but I think you could write these songs because I've seen what you did. So he kind of turned me into a songwriter. So I started working with his publisher in Burbank called Pure Music. We ended up placing some songs for Sony Music. I formed a production company with Ryba called Eastside Greenbacks. We done themes for the Atlanta Braves, Fox Sports South. We did the football stadium sounds for the University of Florida. So it's just like random stuff. I'm not an artist no more at all, but I'm also a silent partner in Vibe Studio ATL. And it started in LA, and I wrote the original business plan for Looney. So that album that he did, the Rihanna song, won a Grammy. And so it's just like, I know my boy Frazier Boy won an Oscar. Like those kind of things, like it hits different. And for us, anybody could get their jokes off on a White Rapper show, sure, but it's different. Who could say they were on it? Who could say that they shook a hand and did this? And it was crazy. But people saw our struggle. We have so much stripes to people out there. So I hope you don't think people are just getting jokes off because of Twitter and IG. Because when I go to labels or when I meet somebody really famous that I get starstruck, they thought it was pretty cool. Like I was at a party and T-Boss from TLC called me over and was like, yo, you killed it. If you would have told 8-year-old me that T-Boss was going to call me over, bro, I've ridden around my Jeep with Jill Scott.
Wow.
And she's like, yo, so how has your life changed? Because my boy Bone Crusher was like, yo, bring Jill to the studio. I need you to pick her up. I'm like, I got you. And just like shit like that, like Serch, Chris from NSYNC, such a great dude. I got to kick it at his house in Orlando. Got to, he's so real. I kicked it at his house in Nashville. We're talking about our moms. He's from the struggle, bro. So you see all that pop money and the glitter and all that, but he's as real as they come. It's
one of those things where the world opens up your eyes. You know what I'm saying? And that's what it is. All right, Misfit, you're up. What is so I know you now. I feel like I need you to represent me. Shit, like you got shit popping. Like so would you do you feel like you would have had a different career? Maybe not a better career, but would you have a different career if it wasn't for the show? And did the show help that career?
I mean, it definitely, great exposure, opened a lot of doors. It was such an amazing experience. And I think, I've never stopped making music, but I just found like a creative transition when I discovered I could actually sing. I didn't think I could sing before. Had a vocal coach, realized I could sing. And actually, like I said, I preferred producing and writing more like singing, like darker kind of music. And so I've never really, like I said, never stopped making music, but I love DJing. Like there's nothing better when, like last night in Nurse Biddy, like I had people dancing in the street when I'm playing like old school hip hop and reggae tracks they hadn't heard for years. And it's just, you get such a buzz when you're making someone's night and just feeling the energy from the crowd. It wasn't so much of a crowd last night because it's obviously COVID, but just in general, like, so I love where I'm at right now.
That's awesome.
Like I love DJing.
That's awesome. And then your new your EP is dropping, right? That's on SoundCloud.com.
Like the next week, these producers from Toronto that I've been working with, 80 Empire, we're gonna release it under their record label, Gladiator Records, and it's a very kind of different sound. So it's called Shoot Me Up, Brooklyn. There's a couple of tracks in there, but not shoot me up into guns. It's a metaphor, and you hear it. We'll get it. It's cleverly written. Like song, like writing is my thing. So it's cleverly written.
That's dope.
Yeah,
dope. I can't wait. I'm looking forward to hearing it, and since it's on SoundCloud, I'm looking forward to copping it. All right, 100 proof.
That SoundCloud's actually for my DJ mixes. But,
word. Oh, cool.
Yes, I've got a SoundCloud separately for my DJing when I release my mixtapes, and then I've got my music SoundCloud's Misfit Dior, but it's all under my website and my Instagram anyway. so
DEVALER music.com, music.com. Okay. So, I'm from Queens. I'm going to say shit wrong.
Yeah, no one can ever say it. So it's actually Deval is like my original family name from like 1066.
Oh, wow.
And so I was trying to, obviously my real last name is Harrison Roberts, which is just Letitia Harrison Roberts is such a mouthful. And my granddad got our family tree all about 1066, and Devala was the original name, and I thought that sounded kind of fancy. So I was like, I'm just going to run with that. Letitia Devala it sounds cooler.
It's fancy AF. All right. 100 proof. You're up, man. Talk to me, brother.
First of all, just to call out, how was she the only one that got younger? Good.
It happens, man.
You sound like Devala. You sound amazing. I'm like, well, what I'm doing right now is I'm not conducting looks. So yeah, I got new stuff out right now too. My new song, Ted Dancing, just dropped right now. Hey yo, which I thought would be great marketing. So I found like 50 people somehow TikTok sounds for Ted Dancing. Anyway. It's a big departure from some of the stuff I've done. It's not more party stuff. It's a different vibe, but I'm happy with it. The whole album, Bourbon Legends, is going to be out May. That's a drop. Video should be out for Ted Dancing, Snowpocalypse, and my little COVID trip. Stop that. But it'll be out hopefully by the end of the month. So you can check that out on my YouTube channel as well, which is one private. That's the Mind of 100 Proof is my YouTube stuff. If you didn't know, I sang too. I mean, I'm not quite Teddy Swims, but I'm damn near there. So I did something during COVID where my mother was in a nursing home and I didn't get to speak to her for that year. And she passed in there, but I would sing her little songs. And for a few of my friends, because they couldn't get out of the house, I couldn't go sing publicly. I couldn't do things. And so I did some silly covers. Like if you want to see me do like stuff like I did like Umbrella, Rihanna in the Rain for my mom, stuff like that. So she could see the videos of me singing. They're all up. It's now public for my YouTube page as well, and that's the Mind of 100 Proof. So Sang, my old videos on there too, but the new Ted dancing stuff will be on there. So just some fun stuff I try to do in my studio when my friends couldn't get out, and so it's kind of a little personal thing of just some covers for everybody and some stuff to help us stay in. So doing that, and I still do production. Anyone needs production, hit me up. Back doing that. Same thing. Website, Half Man Half Liquor. All my needs there. I'm gonna do a thing on my Patreon of songs that now I have all the rights back to. Speaking of our career stuff, I've had basically label after label after label of shutdown stuff. If some of you guys know how frustrating that is. So I got rights back to a lot of stuff and not contested on a few things. So I got a bunch of cool stuff like that, like the song I was mentioning with Lords of Brooklyn. Holly and Scotty Edge, I can put out some other stuff like that now. So a bunch of new media stuff, but Ted Dancing, check it out right now. And if you want to add it to your stories, do it, in the background. It's a fun song, man. It's party music. It's fun. It's a little a Miami kind of 80s drug trade vibe sound, but it's fun, all party music. So that's what I'm doing, man.
That's great, man. Thank you.
Before we move on from 100 Proof, can I just say he kind of changed my life because I had no idea who Waylon Jennings was when I met him. He had a shirt on.
You're welcome.
Remember, for real, thank you. He had a shirt on with Waylon Jennings, and I was like, "Is that Superfly?"
Let me say that
because I wasn't raised on. Like I didn't know who it was. I knew who Superfly was,
amazing.
But they looked like they were dressed the same. And I was like, "Who is this guy, Waylon Jennings?" And I'll never forget it because then I came back and I started listening to Waylon Jennings. It was dope. I was like, "This dude's awesome."
I got a Lemmy tattoo.
Oh, I love it. I love it, man. It's
People
good.
think my Lemmy tattoo is Waylon, which they look damn similar anyway. And since I'm from Dallas area, Blue Mound, I ain't the rich purple, but I get Vinnie Paul all the time too. But people are like, is that Genghis Khan? Is that Waylon Jennings? It's like, they'll know better because I'm this rapper dude. No, it's Lemmy.
That'd be an aggressive move to have Genghis Khan tattooed on you. You'd be like, man, this guy's serious.
Lemmy would have still fucked up Genghis Khan. Lemmy is God.
All right, Jus Rhyme.
What are we talking about? The show, how it changed us, moved us?
Well, the question is, if you could have had a career as an MC instead of what you're doing now after the show, would you have preferred that?
Got you. Well, hip hop changed my life. Everyone else's too. I think the show taught me that independent game is it. Came in independent. I think we've heard tonight the stories or horror stories of what the industry can do, and some of us know how to navigate it. But yeah, just kept doing what I was doing. So it's just independent everything. I don't think I've written a rap maybe since the White Rapper show. So if we're doing another hour of bars, I'm ready, freestyle. So you let me know. But that's all we do. But I can tell you that hip hop as an ethos, as a lifestyle, as a skill set, I've applied in everything I've done. And the one thing that I think has allowed me to survive COVID, real estate, academia, and hip hop is what Serch taught us. Freestyle. It's it. If you can freestyle and take care of each other in the cipher, this is hip hop. So I think we can take care of it. But I'm sitting at community on, waiting for whoever wants to do that stuff with each other. So let me know.
Dope. Thank you.
Yeah.
So I thank all of y'all, and I told all of y'all that I had some things coming for y'all. Our family at Brewetta Tea is making all of y'all custom tumblers.
Yeah.
And sending all of y'all tea.
Thank you.
So they're gonna do that. So shout out to my family at Brewetta Tea. We also have
Love tea.
No, really?
British
person who loves tea. I'm fucking shocked.
Hey, yo, honestly,
I think I've had
really
about
quick.
like 20 cups
Check your
there
privilege.
already.
Just saying, point of personal privilege.
Yo, really
Do
quick.
not-
Hold on. Speaking of changing my life, Misfit showed me that crumpets are actually just English muffins.
No, they're not. English
like big
muffins,
ones.
English muffins.
They're like big
crumpets are
ones.
like gooey in the middle.
Wait,
Aren't they like-
what a
aren't they
biscuit
Feel
like-
like
is.
07 all over again, man.
Right?
I'm telling you.
Great.
I was like, these are English muffins, aren't they?
And then the other thing I wanted to let you all know is my partners. So I don't know if you guys know this, but we officially closed our deal with Sony and the Orchard for our podcast company. So
Congrats.
thank you.
Amazing.
This is the
Big
first
time.
official show under our deal with Sony and the Orchard.
Wow.
So each one of you are going to be receiving 30 days of advertising courtesy of our show on all of
Amazing.
our platforms, including SonyMusic.com, which is
Wow.
both the global and local. So I expect to see a lot of content from you motherfuckers.
And that ain't cheap. That ain't cheap. I
so-
appreciate that, Serch.
Thank you,
it's
Serch.
My,
Wow.
my
Thank you.
pleasure. My
Humbled.
pleasure.
Humbled, man. Thank you so much.
Anything that we can do to promote. But before we leave, I did want to share something with all of y'all because it's important to me that you talk about giving back, right? So, you know, I've been reaching out to a lot of family and friends and people that I know in the industry, and I've been very fortunate. You know, we've had Chris Rock on the show, Questlove, we've had Kamal Bell, Giancarlo Esposito. We've had a lot of people. So I try to reach out to people that I love and care about. And one of the people that I love, and I know Sully and all of y'all, I don't have to exclude anybody. But Living Single is one of my favorite shows coming up. And I love Kim Coles. I love Kim Coles. She's amazing. So I said, you know what? Let me reach out to Kim Coles. I'll just reach out, see what she has to say. And I reached out to her through LinkedIn, and I got a very interesting response from her people. They said, send us your show, send us what it is. So I sent her, you know, clips of me and Chris Rock and me and, you know, Kamal Bell and you know, and all that. And they sent me a really thoughtful note. Said she would love to do it. She'll give you 30 minutes of her time, but she needs an honorarium of $750. So I started to think about it, and I'm like, well, I don't pay for interviews. I didn't pay Chris Rock to be on the show. I don't think you guys charged me, right? I don't think any of you charged me.
Wait.
But
I thought about asking for some Bitcoin. To be honest.
did you? I didn't know. I didn't know. Well, the answer would have been no. But I thank you.
Capital step off.
Right, but
I
I wouldn't have thrown your sneakers off, but I would have thrown your Bitcoin off. But what I did was I said, you know what? Maybe the audience cares about me interviewing Kim Coles. So I started the Kim Coles Interview Fund. We have a GoFundMe for Kim Coles if the audience would like me to interview Kim Coles. And this has been going on for about a year now. And the total we've collected of the $750 is $0. So if you would like us to interview Kim Coles, please go to our GoFundMe. GoFundMe Kim Coles interview for Serch and donate
Amazing.
money.
She was Regine, right? Regine on
That's
Living
exactly.
Unless she brings Overton, we don't want her.
Exactly. You know what?
We don't want her.
You know what? So anyway, I just wanted to say thank you guys for not charging me an honorarium for being on the show. I appreciate that. But like I said, if people want us to interview, please go to our GoFundMe. Guys, I mean, first of all, I'm so thankful you guys are doing well. I'm so thankful you guys are doing great. I can be involved in your careers on this side of the things now and promoting and helping sponsor anything you're doing. I would love to hear more about y'all. Let's definitely keep in touch. We now have our whole thing connected like this.
Yes.
So let's stay in touch. My daughter's in Brooklyn, so she's going to see you for sure, DJing. Two of my kids in LA just... So if you need any help, they will definitely help you.
And whatever they need.
You're around the corner. If you need to move a fucking piece of furniture, I got you.
Man.
Cannabis King of Boston. I'll push weight. I move rhymes like weight. I got you. 100 proof. Whatever you need, I got you, brother.
If you need
you know what?
I gotta pull
you know,
out in
you
the
know
trailer.
all my people. I know all your people.
Sir.
We can all be peoples. Thank you all so much
It's
for
so
doing
good
this.
to see everyone.
Yeah,
Thank
man,
you
it was
guys.
great, man. And for all of y'all, let me leave y'all with this. All the people that are listening to this, you know, I think a lot of people might want to judge white rappers or feel like, you know, we are guests in hip hop. There's a lot of people that have feelings, feel some type of way. Know that whether it's the white rapper show or it's a white rapper, know that it all comes from a place of love, and let's think about love first before we think of anything else. Fair?
I can dig it.
Well said.
I can dig it.
All right. This is the Serch Says podcast. We love y'all.
Whoop,
love,
whoop.
peace, and hair grease. We will see y'all soon.
Yeah. It is not a game, people.